Hi, welcome to my next series on Angular 4, and today we will see how we can invoke or call a HTTP post service, and also we will look at how we can handle the error returned by the HTTP call. So in the last video we have already seen how we can make an HTTP get call. So in this video we'll learn how to make an HTTP post call, which are very much nearly similar. The approach is very much similar. So we'll quickly have a look at how we can invoke an HTTP post call. So if you remember, in the last session we had seen how we can utilize this HTTP get call, and we had hit a service, a free web service, REST API service, where we get the detail of the country detail. If you remember, like whatever country I choose and I say get country details, I get the flag and all this stuff. So now today we'll make a post call. Now for a post call, you will anyway be working with a real-time service where you can update a database through that service. But for the sake of this tutorial, just for the sake of learning and for the sake of demo, let me go to a free site which offers you a mock service, a mock REST service. So if you go to this site, that is reqres.in, that is request-response.in in short. So there you can try out get service, post service, put, fetch, delete, all the CRUD applications. So we are interested in using this post service, so I click on post service. So here it gives me this will be my main URL. This will be my request part of the URL. Okay, the endpoint, that is /API/users. That means with this URL, this will be appended https://reqres.in/API/users. Okay, it will return me a response 201. 201 response means it's updated. Okay, it's just a OK response. Just like 200 is OK, 201 is like it's updated. It's created, something is created. So here it is a mock service, like whatever parameter I'll pass, it will return me the same parameter after processing my request successfully. And in addition to that, it will return me the ID, a unique identifier, and created at what is the time I have created this record, I have updated this record. Okay, so I open my editor, that is a TypeScript editor, and I also run this ngserve to run my Node.js server, and it compiles successfully. So now coming back to this code. So this is what we did last. So here we modify this code even more. So let me go to app component.html. So say for example I want to display, so I'll create something over here only after this. So I'll just give an say horizontal line over here. Okay, and here we will start our another template. Same template, in fact other part of the HTML will write. We'll just add some more tags where we'll display the post response. So here say for example I want to display say h3. So let me first give the heading h2. So post response data /h2, and then I will say I want to display name. So h3 name /h3. Okay, and here I will say colon, then I'll write a span. Okay, say style, I'll make the font smaller. Okay, say 18 pixel will be my font size, and say color I'll take as say red for example. So same way I'll create sorry, I have to close the span tag. And here say for example I will use an object, say the post response object, let me name it some object. So let me call it profile object. Say it is a profile of a person, his name, his city. So profile obj dot name. So we'll create this variable we haven't created yet, just putting it over here, but we have to declare it and use it. So say this will be job, this will be city, say only 3, and one more, let's say the ID, this will be for ID. So here I'll say job. Okay, so profile object dot job, let this be city. So profile object dot city, and finally we'll take the ID. Okay, the ID that is being generated on the response. Okay, so same way we can take it. Okay, now coming to the code part. So this profile object dot name, so there are 4 key value that will be assigning in profile object. Okay, so let me declare, just like I had declared last time, countries list. So let me declare public profile object, say any, and let us initialize it with some empty values. If you want, you can leave it like this, but better initialize it. Say name is the first property we have taken, sorry, empty key, then job, empty value, not key, empty value, then city, let us take it as empty value, then ID colon, let's take it as empty value. So we have already defined this profile object. Now this is the profile object that we need to populate after calling that service. Okay, so let us now, just like we had created countries HTTP service, let us create a service. So let's call it as let us create in the services folder, let's keep it separate. I call it as a new file, profile dot service dot ts. Okay, so how do we create a service? First you have to import, okay, injector, if you injectable, if you remember, and that is a part of Angular core only. So I come over here. Okay, so this injectable is what we need to import, and we'll import the other part as well. So first let us declare this injectable decorator, injectable, and here you have to export your class name, export class. What is the name of the service? Say profile service, let's give it. So that's the bare bones structure. Okay, now we need to use HTTP service. So let us import HTTP service just like we did for the country service, which is a part of Angular HTTP, if you remember. So Angular /HTTP. So here we will import HTTP, and we'll also import one more object. This is HTTP, and just a sec, it seems there's a case problem. Yeah, HTTP, and also take response. We'll needing response object as well over here. Okay, and then this HTTP, how do we inject it? We have to inject this HTTP like we did in the previous session. For that you have to use constructor. This is one way of injecting it, constructor, and within constructor we will just declare a private variable. It will get injected. Say private say underscore HTTP, which is of type HTTP. Okay, sorry. So this is injected. Now we can use this service. Then you create a method like save, say save profile, for example. Save profile and this way. Okay, so here you have to say this return this dot underscore http dot post. So you have to make a post call. Okay, you have to make a post call. So this post will take the parameters. You see there are parameters URL, which is of type string, body, and third one is the optional one. Okay, so you have to give the form data. Body is nothing but the form data that you have taken. So say for example, I want to, if you come over here, okay, if you want you can actually give it through the input, or if you want you can just to test it, we can hard code it for the time being. Okay, so no problem, we can hard code it. So let's do one thing, let's first hard code it, then you can actually refactor it to take the input from the form. Okay, using the binding that we have studied in one of the previous session. So in the post, you have first you have to give the first parameter will be your URL. So let me take a URL over here. So let underscore URL colon string equals, so what is the URL we have? This URL I have already noted it down, that is this one, or you can even take it from here. See this whole thing plus this slash API slash users, slash API slash users. Okay, so this slash API slash users, so this is the URL. Now you have to write this, give this URL as the first parameter. Second parameter will be your whatever data you want to feed in. Okay, so in this object I'll give the data name colon, say I give my name, say Junaid. Okay, then second key was job, if you remember, say job, I write programmer, and say I want to write city, say I give for example Mumbai. Okay, and this ID we don't give, ID will get back as a response. So these are the three parameters which we pass. Okay, now is this enough? No, because this will be returning an observable, so we have to handle that. So next what we have to do, let us import, let us first try to map it. So if you want to map it, you have to first import the library of RxJS. So import say RxJS, okay, slash add slash operator slash map. Okay, slash operator slash map, then you will give dot map, and here you can map the response. Say the response is, say I can write dot map in the next line also, not a problem. So just for a better readability, or you can write it in the same line as well. So it takes an arrow function, so response dot JSON. Okay, and this response can be of type response. If you want, you can write it this way also. If you want to typecast it, you have to put a bracket, or you can leave it like this also, response. Okay, so this is a type of response which we already imported from here, response.json. Fine, now let us come back and invoke this and let's see. So this is save profile. So now I come over here, I create another button in the template, and let me call it, say on the click event I'll assign this to the handler. Say let me call it save user profile, save user profile. Slash button. Okay, so in the template I just add this, and then I can just take this and define save user profile. anywhere I can define over here. So let's make it public, save user profile, return type, let it be void. Even if you don't write a return type, it will do, but as a best practice you should always write. So now we will say, we will just invoke this. Okay, we haven't yet called that service over here. So just like we imported countries service, let us copy this, paste this, and import profile service. From services profile dot service. Okay, next step, if you remember, we have to provide this service as a provider. Metadata provider takes array as the value, and that is where we have to provide this service also, just like the country service. Now we are ready to use this. And remember one more thing, that in app module, which we did earlier, app module, whenever you are using HTTP service, this HTTP module has to be there in imports. So I already did that in the previous session, I believe. You have to import this HTTP module and just include it over here. Then only your HTTP module will be visible to all. Okay. Now coming back, let me close this app module. What is not required, let's close it. Okay, now I need to invoke that service. So I'll say this dot. Okay, and that service needs to be injected as well over here through a constructor. So I just say comma. Instead of writing the same line, if you want, you are free to write it in the next line. Private, say profile service colon profile service. So it is injected. So now I can write this dot profile service, okay, dot save profile, okay, save profile. So till now it will not do anything. Okay, it will just invoke that service, but we are not collecting the response. So we need to collect the response. Okay, so that is where we need to have this observable, okay, to collect this response. Okay, so I have already listed the libraries over here, so that I can simply copy paste from here instead of typing. Okay, so now, so this is already returning me a JSON data. Okay, so here I will say it is, since it is an observer, so I can subscribe, which we have already done in the last session. So we can subscribe, and then say I can use the same arrow function over here. So we have already done this in the previous session. We don't need to say response.json. Already, if you see, it is already a JSON over here. It is already returning a JSON. Sorry, this is profile service. Yeah, already I'm converting to JSON. Okay, sorry, I missed something over here. I have to give this a method, so I have to give it like this. Okay, so no need to again reconvert to JSON. So what I will do is, I'll just say this dot profile object, sorry, profile object equals whatever is the response. Okay, so the moment the profile object will get this response JSON, then it will have this value, name, whatever we have stored, whatever we are sending here to be stored, name, job, and city, and ID that service itself will generate. So all these things will get assigned to this profile object. Once it get assigned, then there's a dynamic binding already over here. Sorry, I mean just a simple interpolation data binding over here. Let me not use the word dynamic right now. So this data binding over here, and so it should display if everything is well and fine. So let's see. So no need to recompile, it is already compiled. So now I say save profile, I'll just click. Okay, so still we are not getting the data, that means some issue. So let's debug it. I press F12 and let's see the console if any error has been thrown. Okay, there are many errors. So let us check what is the error it is saying, what are we missing. Okay, it is saying cannot read property name of undefined. Okay, at object this. Okay, name property is getting undefined somehow. So let us see how it is getting name profile object dot name. So let us see if the spelling and the case is proper. So this is profile object. Okay, I think there was some issue. No, it was okay, it was same. So here we are fine. Then what next? This dot profile object is equal to res, so this is also fine. Then okay, let us check the service. If it is hitting the service, that is also required. So let us clear this. Let us come to network. Let us clear this. Okay, now let us save profile. Okay, it is hitting the service. Okay, and if you click over here, you see that is successfully, it is posting the service. That means our service is working fine. See, I am whatever I have sent, it is sending, and plus it has created an ID, that service side from the server, it is created the ID. Okay, so that means our post is working fine. Now we have issue in the template, like the template which we are using and parsing the response. So that is where our issue lies. So let us come back over here and let us check it. Okay, I think there is no issue with our code that we have written now, but it seems that there is an issue with the previous code, like something I may have modified, and that is why it is not able to read the country object name, because for our profile object we already have given a name. So for country object still name has not been formed, and here in the template is trying to read this. So let us do one thing. So we already have done this in the previous session, so I no more require it, so I'll just comment it out. Rather than fixing this issue, it is better that we focus on what we are doing right now. So I'll just comment out this entire part of the tag in this template that is related to the previous session, only leaving the title. So title also, instead of saying get service demo, let me put it post service demo, and I think that should be the issue. So now these things are no more relevant to us. Get country info, this all comes from the previous session, so we are only concerned with this method. Okay, so save user profile. So now let's run it. So it is already compiled. Okay, still we are getting some error, it seems. Okay, let's clear this. Okay, I think this is not refreshed, because still we can see that UI. So let me come back to app component.html and let's see if we are okay. I think we have not saved it, because you see this icon over here showing 1, that means this file is still not saved. So save it. Now that icon vanishes, so now we'll get the reflected changes. Okay, now we don't see any error, so the error was due to the previous template. So now I click on save profile. I am hard coding, so I'm getting that response back, and the ID also back. Again, if I save it another time, the ID should be different. Okay, I think yeah, it takes time to refresh. Yeah, so we are done with the post request. And if you go to this network in your browser console, and if you just check this, you can see how this is the header, how it is going. So it is returning a status code 201, and what is the request payload we are sending. So you can see the full information over here. So we have successfully initiated a post request, and you can actually, here we are using a mock service. From this side there are many free sites providing you mock service, but you can actually, in a real-time project, you can use a real-time REST service which will actually update your data, update your database in fact. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is the error handling. So we can even do error handling in your HTTP service. Okay, so to have the error handling, you have to import rxjs /add /operator /catch. Okay, and then we need to throw this error. So that is done via that observables is required. So let us import rxjs /add /observable /throw. Okay, so we need this as well. Now just like we have put map, we can just chain it. So this is when we are having an observable, it is easy to chain. So either I can write dot catch, okay, and in the catch you have to pass a parameter. Okay, so what I'll do, let me write it in the next line so that it is easy for readability. So within catch you have to provide some handler of your own. So let us first let us create a handler. So I'll name it private, let us keep it private, say underscore error handler, whatever function name you can give. I'm just trying to give it a meaningful name, that's it. So this is error, let us name this argument as error. So we will call this error handler by providing this as a parameter to this catch block, this dot underscore error handler. Okay, and this error type, take it as a response, type response, because this is error object will also be of type response. So this is it. And then over here I'll just to test I can type console dot, sorry, let's have error instead of log, and here I'll just type error just to check, and then I can just return, you have to return an observables throw. So to do that I have to import observable, which is again a part of RxJS library only, from RxJS / observable. Now take this observable, and over here I'll say return observable dot throw. We can use the throw property of this observable, throw method, in fact it's a method not a property. So here I'll just throw this error. If it exists, if it is null, I'll just write it over here, some error occurred. Oh, please don't mind my spelling. Some error on server occurred. I can give any custom error. So if some error object is there, if it is not null, it will just show the actual error. Otherwise we can give some hard-coded error as a fallback. Okay, now let us come back, let us run this application. It is already running in watcher mode. So right now it is working fine. Okay, I click, I get it. Now let us try to induce some error in this. So one way we can do that is by going to this countries and sorry, not countries, ProfileService, and here you just type a wrong URL. So I append the URL with 111. So this is a wrong URL. Now let us open its console. Keep the console open and just say save profile. So this is a wrong URL I'm hitting, so it is giving me this error message, error not resolved. Okay, so I'm getting the error message over here, that this the entire thing is the error message. Okay, so this way I can even handle the error. I can have a fallback URL, again I will hit it again, so I can handle it in my way, whatever way I wish. Okay, so just to check it, okay, I can just put a message over here. Error thrown, error occurred. So what kind of error occurred? So in the error object, just to check it, like whether it is coming from our console.error or not. Click. Okay, see, it is giving error occurred, response this with status 0 for URL null. Okay, for ProfileService.ts, where it is occurring, it is just mentioning it, and see, it is mentioning the if you see, it is mentioning the line number also, 24. So it is here where the error is occurring. Okay, so this way we can handle the error, HTTP error. Okay, so these are just a basic one, there are more to it. Okay, so now we are correcting the URL. Now let us try to See, that error will not come anymore. Now it is having a successful service call with a proper response. Okay, so this is how we make a post call and how we handle the error. So I'll just summarize it, the steps. So first step is that you create a service just like any other service, like import an injectable, then decorator injectable, give the service a class name, inject the import HTTP and response over here in this case, and HTTP you need to inject via the constructor just like we did for the last service. Then you define any method. Say I'm defining a method save profile and I'm using a mock URL, the URL which you are seeing over here. You can use any proper URL, like if you are working on a real-time project, you can use the service URL of that project. That service can be in any server-side code like JSP, Servlet, Java Spring, .NET, Cold Fusion, PHP, etc. There are lots of variations, but the approach here will be same. It doesn't matter what programming language on the server side has been used. Only it should be a REST API service, and you have to know like what kind of parameter you need to pass to the service. So I'm using the http.post method. First parameter will be URL, second parameter will be the payload data that you want to pass. So this data will actually come from a form. I've just hard coded it, but as an exercise I'm leaving it to you as an exercise that put some input values over here and say use ng model, like here in the country name which I had put ng model, and try to pass the data from there only, whatever user types in. Here I have hard coded, you just try to pass whatever user has hard coded. Okay, and then I'm calling the map method on it since it is an observable, so I can chain it. So map method, map, I can just say that variable, the response variable is formatted as a JSON, and I'm already also handling it, the error, by using catch. So for that I have to import this catch and throw, and to use map I have to import this. All are a part of RxJS library. Okay, and then I can provide any handler, custom handler over here which I can define, and that custom handler should take the error as a response and return an observable throw object. Okay, observable. So it will throw a this will have a throw method. Okay, so it will return an observable, and here I can just throw this error, or if this error is null I can write my own custom message over here, and then I can go to my app component and then inject this service, import this service, profile service. Okay, then I have to provide it as a provider in the provider metadata just like I did for the country, and then I'll have to inject it in the constructor just like I did for the previous service, and then I am now ready to use this this service. And the method of the service I give a call, so you can pass an argument to this method and refactor it to take argument from the form, and then I can subscribe to this since it is returning an observer, and here I can just say that whatever is the response, assign this to profile object, and once it gets assigned to profile object, then here it displays in the template because it is bound to the profile object's properties name, job, city and ID. Okay, and when I click this button save profile, then it calls this handler save profile, and then only this service call is made. Okay, so finally when we run the application we get this output after clicking save profile. So fine, so I hope this was very fruitful learning for you, and if you have got any comments or queries, please do post it in the comment section. I'll try to respond back as soon as possible, and thanks very much for watching my video, and please do share it and like it if you have really liked the video, and I'll come up with the next session of Angular 4. So till then, bye bye, have a nice day.